The week did not start or end in a great way.
All right.
The start that was challenging it stemmed from another special day of the year in my house, which I failed to focus on when we were talking last Friday, and that was Super Bowl Sunday. That is a holiday in my house.
Yeah. It's something I should be, just as an aside.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with somebody yesterday, and she said, so, what did you think of the birds? And so I'm thinking now, I'm like, all right, the birds has to do with the Super Bowl. I'm in Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, I was in the Super Bowl. I said, first you got to tell me who won, because I have I meant to look it up, but this was yesterday. Okay. I meant to look at, yesterday is Thursday and the Super Bowl was Sunday. All right. I meant to look it up. In good faith, I was a little curious to see who won. And I heard more about the halftime show than anything else, but I literally, had no idea who came out on top. So I had her share that with me before I could comment on whether I was happy or not. I said, yeah I guess I'm supposed to be happy, right? So I'll go with that. But I know you have a complete opposite point of view when it comes to the game, even though you don't live in Philadelphia and you don't live in the other city, whatever that might be. So that's how informed I am. I got Philadelphia because I'm close enough. And I'm in the same state, a couple hours away. So you tell me though, Super Bowl I know is like a sort of like a religious ritual for you, because it's the most important day in a football fan's life. It's just an incredible experience. Everybody's watching except me, and it's fun. Everybody gets together, has a party, and there's a lot of food and there's a lot of fun and food go together. So tell me how that was like.
Yeah, so that was the highlight / low light of the week when it comes to the diet by far. Yeah, to take the second guessing away, I adhered to the 4-3-2-0 policy on the candy bar.
You did. I
did
throughout the week. Okay.
Yeah. But I think damage was definitely done over the weekend. The treats were numerous. If you ask,
just Monday or weekend and Monday?
I would say Saturday might have been. I can't even really remember. I don't think Saturday was bad. But Sunday, I know damage was done. And
Sunday and Monday.
I mean, possibly, but I don't think so. I think it was just Sunday.
On Monday. Okay. Well, let's get this straight. Okay. The Super Bowl was on Sunday. Right? For some reason, I'm confusing the Super Bowl with Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to guide the conversation from the Super Bowl thing. You're gonna take over. Okay. The Super Bowl was on Sunday. You ended up Sunday was the big day. That was the fun day. That was the day where you just went completely haywire.
Yeah, the majority of our country. I know you're removed from civilian life because you're working out 24/7 for helping people. And that's honorable, by the way. But I do think you could take a break for 3 hours, 4 hours for one game a year. I might have to enforce that next year. When I'm skinny, I come up there and give you some enforcement on that. Make you watch it.
Listen, I will confess the game was on the television. My brother put it on because we were preparing to watch 24 and the TV series from 20 years ago. And so I had it on television for probably on for a minute, and just to see what it looked like. Got a new television, wanted to see, what the game was, how lifelike it was. Very lifelike, and it didn't dawn on me what we were watching. I knew it was a football game, but then at some point, I think it was like, it's a Super Bowl. I think it hit me that it was a Super Bowl, but it was like a fleeting moment. in my life to the point where I just moved on to 24 and forgot about it.
That hurts my heart.
That's why I'm sorry. If you were here, we have a lot of distance between us. If you were here, maybe it would have fared different. Well, I know it would have, because you would have absolutely not allowed me to survive the night had I not sat with you
It would have been
enjoyed it from start to finish.
It would have definitely been worth your while to just go ahead and suck it up for 4 hours. You know,
speaking of
sucking it up, I would have been the worst nuisance in life.
Speaking of sucking it up, I heard essentially that was the analysis of the game from the people who did watch. Is that right?
I mean, if you were a Chiefs fan, you definitely felt that way. Yeah. I was ready for a new team to win, so I was pleased with the outcome.
But it wasn't an exciting game. In other words, it didn't go down to the last inning.
No,
or last
it was.
Yes, the last inning. Goodness. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, my goodness. So yeah, it was not dramatic in its conclusion. But you know, the things that pull other people in, aside from football fans, you know, the halftime show, that was not impressive to me at all.
That's what I hear.
But the commercials from start to finish. I mean, this actually is one of the reasons why non-football fans actually tune in, and that they've been disappointing in the last few years, but this year was pretty solid. It went
good
from start to finish. The commercials were enjoyable. So, anyway, you know, people in like third world countries were watching this game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't. And by the way,
I got to work on you. I got to work on you. But
I don't live.
You got more work to do on me than I got to do on you. Okay. So one day a year, I've got a year to get ready for that. You got to get me somewhere better in the next year before that even comes up. So, but
yes,
I'll get it back to that.
If we're not out of the 320s by next year, you're not watching the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, I promise.
All right.
But yeah, so I mean, this is where it became more difficult. I think I'm going to make an excuse for myself. Like of all days, where I have my support system at home that actually, AKA my better half, supporting foolishness when it comes to food. This is like the universal day that you do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, she goes all out. She makes a wonderful spread. Cool. Desserts are included in that. And you know, like this is a spread that I see once a year basically. So
dude,
it just wasn't going to be an amazing weekend.
Well, what's fun, what's interesting is I had put so much emphasis on Thanksgiving and Christmas, Christmas Eve and New Year's as being the days where Jeff was able to control himself enough to lose weight. It's just the majority of society is crashing on those days, and they're gaining pound after pound. Little did I know in my own head, I don't know why I didn't compute prior to the Super Bowl happening, but that was going to be the ultimate, like that was going to be the one day. If there's one day out of the year where all rules go out the window, that is it. And it should be it for you, because as a huge football fan, you should be able to do whatever you want to do on that day and just enjoy it and forget about everything. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So we just didn't anticipate that it was going to happen. I know why I forgot. You just didn't factor it in.
I wasn't factoring
not
it
intentionally,
in at all.
But yes, right.
Yeah. So that's on me. And so I'm not overly, you know, like this doesn't have me down in the dump.
Yeah.
I still have some lingering.
After you explain that to me, I'm not down in the dumps either. That's an excellent rationale for why the beginning of the week was a lot different than it otherwise would have been.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, cookies, we had brownies with peanut butter chips in them. I mean, like, it was just like,
wait a minute. Why didn't you ever tell me that this I had no idea that's if you
could I get you to come over for the Super Bowl next year?
But listen, if you turn it into the religious experience that you just described, I promise I'll have to partake in that. I mean, it sounds like literally, I mean, you got everybody supporting you on that day to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah.
So this is like, I mean, this is the one day out of the year where you probably have the most fun. I mean, and when all things considered, right?
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, it varies based on the teams involved and stuff like that. But I am, as
the
you
food's
pointed
still
out,
there,
I'm
though.
a serious football fan, and
Yeah.
I try to make every weekend fun in some regard, especially during the season, just watching, intoxicating myself with football, much less food.
Oh yeah.
So,
sure.
but yeah, so damage was done. We got, pigs in a blanket, the hot dogs wrapped up in nice carbs.
Wait a minute. You continually list them. You got cookies, brownies, desserts, the pigs in a blanket. Keep going. This is
there was protein in there. What else?
I don't even, at this point, I don't even care. I just want to know exactly what it is that you could, because this is getting me turned on.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I'm glad.
Listening to all this. I didn't know this happened. You never shared with me.
This would be such a spectacle if I could see you eat this stuff. Oreos, there was special edition Oreos, Super Bowl Oreos, dude. What are they doing?
What do they look like?
I mean, they were like
edition about
they were a hybrid between the regular stuff and the double stuff. It was like a 1.5 stuff. And then they had like little designs on them, like the football helmet on one side and the field goal post on the other. I mean, what are you going to do, man? I'm running to leave that alone. Like that was made for me. If it was made for one person in this world, those Oreos were made for me.
If they were made for you, they would have been triple stuff. So I don't know what they were thinking. All right, fine.
That football stuff on them, man. I mean,
you sold me on Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay,
you sold me. You honestly did. That
next
day,
year we're making
anything else?
We're making it happen next year. Oh yeah, there's I actually got involved in some of the preparation because there's a dip. There's a dip that we make like a whole cookie sheet of, and it's like. Well, I don't know if it's a cookie sheet. I don't know the terminology of all this and stuff, but
you just eat.
It's like
I know. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, 8 by 13, maybe something kind of like that. Anyway, there's a dip that is like a tradition that that we started years and years ago, and it never failed. Like I cannot have a Super Bowl go by without this stuff. It is crack. If you like any kind of Mexican or Tex-Mex type stuff, it's chicken enchilada dip. And so chicken, the first word is straight protein, bro. I don't want to hear it. Chicken enchilada dip. And actually, I don't even think I kind of tried to look at the numbers on that. It's got, cream cheese, which is nice and fatty, right? Not high in carbs. I mean, but the carbs come into the picture when, the celery just isn't getting it done and I have to reach for a tortilla chip or.
I was going to ask you what you dip inside of that. And now.
Yeah, I did good for a while, but then I caved, man. I caved. But that stuff's so good. Yeah, I have to make that for you.
Yes, you do.
But that's a little time consuming. And, the missus was doing a lot of other prep work and other stuff as she always does. So I felt like that was the thing I needed to at least lighten her load with.
Okay.
So let's see what else. I think I might be forgetting something. What else? I did manage to stay away from a couple of the things that, I might have otherwise jumped on, but just, I didn't need to have it. And it was like, chicken tenders and stuff like that. Like I've had enough chicken and where I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you avoided the high protein items as much as you possibly could on that day, which I
coated in carbs, man.
Given what that day symbolized, that's exactly what you should have done. There was really no reason. Listen, there was really no reason on a day like that to be too mindful of anything.
Thank you.
Just because there's way too much to choose from, and it only happens once a year.
It's the last day of football season. It's like
I know.
It's like a celebration and a funeral all wrapped up into one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
have to mourn. Yeah. You have to mourn in the most celebratory way possible. That's literally the only thing you could do on a moment like that, because football is done for a while.
I think you'll have a better understanding when we watch next year's Super Bowl together.
Yeah,
I think
we will, especially after you've outlined the menu for me.
Yeah.
If there's anything that'll get me to watch a football game from start to finish, it's being surrounded by what you just described. So,
yeah, dude.
That's something. Listen, that's something that the vast majority of people, from what I hear, participate in, and there's no reason why, given how important it is in your life and how big a fan you are, there's no reason why you shouldn't have gone all out.
Thank you very much. That helps me kind of process the
my analysis. That factors in very strongly to my analysis of this week, which I was not. It didn't even register until you brought it up. Partially because I forgot that the Super Bowl was happening on Sunday prior to and following, and to the point where it just never connected it with what you'd be doing on that day. But yes, so fine. That accounts for just a completely out of control Sunday compared to what you would normally be doing on a Sunday.
True. Yeah. Especially in the last few months.